Hi, Home Inspired. Great to see you again. Welcome to another one of my design and development projects. This one is in Rye, East Sussex, and it is a converted ambulance station, and I'd love to show you around. So I purchased this building in 2014 from St John Ambulance, and it had been empty for 2 years, and I applied for planning to get a change of use to a 4-bedroom house. This part of the building is the original part, and then that part is a new build that I built on the slab and the foundations of a really poor conversion that I actually demolished and built a new extension to this building. So the concept for this design is that it's very contextual to local architecture. It's made and clad in local pan tiles, made 4 miles from here in Lydd. And the idea is that it sort of just extrudes from the existing building, and that the roof and the wall is completely clad. This is a local feature, actually. You do see it on the sides of buildings, that they're clad in the pan tiles, but I took it right down and made it much more monolithic and vernacular. Please come inside and let's go through the ambulance doors into the space so you can see what's inside. This main space didn't look like this when I purchased it. There was a blockwork wall here because it was a single ambulance space, and the doors had been changed and adapted just to make them much smaller. So in seeing the space, I thought immediately it had to be made into one big open area, because Rye was a medieval town originally, and all the medieval buildings are still here. I felt it was really important to give a sort of an essence of the medieval quality. So thinking of medieval halls where everybody lived in one space and the fireplace was in the center of the space. So that's how I kind of decided to do the planning of the main space here, to have the hearth, a double-sided wood burner, and have everything happening here. So the kitchen, the dining area, the sitting area, and links to the outside walled gardens coming from either side and to the hallway. And then reinstating new ambulance doors, which emulated the original design, which are now, the original doors are actually on that wall as a great feature. And the new doors just slide really smoothly, so it connects the exterior to the interior. It's a great transition for us just to move inside and outside of the space. So I wanted to create this vista through the ground floor, that it goes from one walled garden to the other side of the walled garden, and it just creates 3 doorways and a window. So it's a great connection for the outdoor space. So coming out here, we are on the Citadel wall. So that's the part of the Citadel wall that we're in the Citadel of Rye. And we have a sort of a terrace area here, small terrace area with seating and a barbecue and a fire pit with planting and a bit of a sun deck. So the kitchen was inspired by the concept that it was a St John ambulance station formerly, and I wanted to use stainless steel. So this unit is a bespoke unit by Cavendish, who are a great manufacturer of bespoke commercial kitchen units. And so I thought I'd bring some of that material language into the space. That obviously they had stainless steel trolleys and stainless steel screens formerly, so that was quite fun. And then, as per the warehouse, I've used a rock-punked kitchen again because they are so brilliant. So everything's like neatly hidden away, and this is in a timber veneer, and then used Carrara white marble here. So it's a wonderful mix of 3 different materials that really complement each other really well and create this kind of slightly industrial but fresh kitchen environment. So I didn't want to waste anything of the original building and the doors. So here are the original doors from the ambulance station, and we lightly sanded them, and then we sanded them some more, and we got to that sweet spot that it was like still distressed, and showed the patina of the past, but it was a really good finish we got to, and decided to put them here as a big feature next to the dining area to create a lot of warmth and character and to reuse the existing. So the dining table is made from a piece of driftwood that I found on Camber Beach. It was 5 meters long and 400 square, so I couldn't carry it. So I found somebody with a bulldozer on the beach, as you do, to help me, and convinced him that it was a great idea to drag this piece of wood, and then took it to a mill in Hastings where I had it sawn into planks and then sandblasted, and designed a metal frame. And the whole table is designed that it can be disassembled really easily by one person, so you can easily move them around. So if we have a really big dinner party, we can put the tables outside, or for Christmas we have a long banquet, a medieval hall banquet in here, which is great at Christmas. So it's very flexible and it responds to our needs in the space, which we really love. And I love it that it was a found object that is now part of our everyday life. So these windows were added to the property in the 1970s when they did a major refurbishment here to allow for the ambulance station to go from 2 ambulances to 1 ambulance, because they wanted this area as a muster area. So these are the original windows, and this is really great. We love this string detail that opens up the window at the top. It's really quirky, really unusual. So we wanted to keep that, but we changed all the glazing to double glazed, so it meets the double glazing requirements, and did this unusual feature for the blinds, that the blinds actually go upwards instead of downwards, and are just held on cup hooks here, so you can see the sky and the trees, but we can have more visual privacy from the cobbled street that you find just outside the property. Great, so we'll leave the medieval hall-inspired living space and come through and see the bedrooms and the rest. So here we lead to a really large hall, which has got great seating and hooks and everything. So when you come in, you can dump all your wellies and coats in the winter. Nice big space, nice big open welcoming hall. And a staircase, which is made from concrete. It was cast in situ. So we basically did all the shuttering here, cast it and vibrated it, and then we waited for it to set. When it was unveiled, it had all these sort of pop marks in it. I think it just wasn't vibrated enough, so it had this texture. It was a bit like a rock pool, so I thought it was actually quite coastal in a way. It was a mistake, but it was a positive mistake, and we embraced it as part of the learning and the making of this property. So it's this cast concrete plinth, and then we've got oak staircase with open treads that leads you up to the first floor. So before we go upstairs, let me show you the ground floor bedroom. So this is a double room on the ground floor that was on plan. It was either a study or a bedroom, but as we share our home with guests, renting it through Domstay, we have a bedroom here with an ensuite just outside. So designed this double height window feature, which from the first floor, from the top part of the window, you can see right up into Rye. You can actually see St Mary's Church during the winter when the trees aren't in full leaf. And the view includes Rye's beautiful rooftops. Rye has so many medieval and Georgian and late and early Victorian buildings, and you can see all these wonderful topology of rooftops. So on the first floor, we have another double bedroom. This is an attic style bedroom, and with a minimal view onto the courtyard and a beautiful, very ancient brick wall. And this has got the exposed brick that was once covered in clay pegs as well, because this used to be the end of the building. So we are now ostensibly outside the building and in the new extension. Here's the master bathroom in the roof space, and we've got a medical trolley, a new medical trolley, and that forms the sort of the vanity part of the basin in the bathroom. So using medical references. And it has a double-sided bath and a lovely view across the Rye rooftops and Landgate Hill. Coming up into the original part of the building, this bedroom was designed for my son because he was 8 years old when I was designing this scheme. And this was the idea that it's kind of a bedroom that opens up with double doors into the hallway. So to keep the hallway as big and as generous as possible, but it keeps the kind of duality of space that you could use the spaces in either way, with the doors closed or open as a play area and an area for kids to run around and do their stuff. So throughout St John, I've used an oak floor, which is a limed oak floor, and used a similar flooring on the walls as well. So it's a flooring, but it's a narrower flooring. So it's all quite monolithic, like the exterior. From the roof space, we get this wonderful view of Rye, and this is one of our favourite places to sit and work, as it's quiet and it has a beautiful view and it's very reflective. So it's a really good study area. So the actual opening and the eaves was made in the 1970s, and we just changed the window here, the glazing, to make it larger and clear glass. So entering the master bedroom, this is a really interesting feature that I'm going to share with you here. It's a triangular piece of glass that overlooks the hill and Leasham House. Originally, this would have been a valley roof, and in the 70s they converted it to have additional space up here. So actually the heavy lifting was done back then. They made a flat roof here and created this feature, but they had a kitchen here. It was a kitchen and tea point for staff. There was a kitchen across here, and all of this had transoms and mullions and glass that you couldn't see through. So the heavy lifting had been done, but we came and made it better. And in the design, I also added this roof light here, and it's a really great company called the Roof Light Company, and it opens really beautifully with this hand turning mechanism. And so that was a great way of getting ventilation and more light. In the master bedroom, we have an ensuite, but it is cunningly disguised behind the headboard and the paneling here, that we have a shower on this side, and then if we go around that way, we have the loo and the basin. And continuing with the medical references, the vanity table is in fact a cadaver table. It is a vintage cadaver table, so it is very small. It's only like 500 in width. Nowadays, apparently cadaver tables are much wider, 8 to 900. Just a bit of information. So we are very, very lucky. Despite the fact that we are in central Rye, we have parking space out here. We have ceiling height, as you've seen, and we have little garden spaces. And we have another garden space here, which is the sort of the breakaway garden space where people can come and chill and have a glass of wine, surrounded with trees and flowers. So it's great to be here again on Home Inspire. Thank you so much for sharing your time to see St John. Do come and stay. You can have a look at our website, domstay, and follow us on Instagram, domstay, and hope to see you again at another property.